We'll be able to dig deeper during question and answer, but now we're going to talk with Beth Becker, who's going to talk about kind of bringing social and communication strategy together and some other stuff.
So when Alan was talking a few minutes ago about COPE, create once, publish everywhere, nowadays you really can't do that. And the reason is really simple. Every platform we use in social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest, those of you who have read anything I've ever written know I'm obsessed with Pinterest, for good reason. And Tumblr, anything else we're doing, any new awesome platforms that come up in the future have different demographics that use them, right? If you're trying to reach women with your content, you're going to want to go to Pinterest. If you're trying to reach college students, you're probably going to want to go to Twitter or Tumblr. If you're trying to reach young men between the ages of 18 and 24 who are really techie, you're going to go to Google+. Now, I didn't prepare a slideshow today because I knew I only had 10 minutes, but I will send Alan that he can upload. I do have a small slide deck that talks about the different platforms, what those demographics are, what kinds of content works on each demographic. But you need to stop and think about when you're creating your content. First of all, you don't have to publish every piece of content to every platform. That's number one. Number two, you don't actually have to be on every platform. If your audience isn't on Twitter, why are you putting your time into it? If your audience isn't on Pinterest, don't waste your time. Time is a really valuable resource, especially in the online world. It's really easy to let this stuff become a time suck. I'm a really, really big believer that before you do anything in social media, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, who is my audience? Where is my audience? What do they want from me? I recently wrote a blog post. We always talk about social media as tools. Social media was tools, new tools that we were using to be social with. Then about 2 years ago, you started hearing a lot of people talking about social networking, that it was about the network. It's not just who's following you, it's who's following them on down the line. One of the main reasons why I hate people who worry about the number of followers and likes they have. Because how many people are following them is the important piece. Then last summer I started talking about social sharing. And a lot of that was inspired by Upworthy. MoveOn has a thing called the Daily Share. A lot of organizations now are doing this curation of content, right? CrowdTangle is a new thing that's getting ready to come out. It's amazing. It's in limited beta right now, but it's going to blow your mind. So it's about going through all of the content, finding the really good stuff that connects to people, that says a meaningful message, and sharing it through the networks. That's how you pass your message in social media and online. Lately, I've been thinking about it as social shopping. And I don't mean shopping in terms of purchases with dollars, although that happens too, okay? What I'm talking about is the fact that instead of thinking about the fact that we're here and we have content and we want you to come look at our content, I think it's time for us to start thinking about who is our audience and what content do they want from us? What are they looking for from us? Every organization, every campaign, every elected official, there is a reason your audience is seeking you out. Answer their questions. Give them what they want from you. If your organization talks about the environment, they're probably not coming to you for foreign policy information. That doesn't mean they're not interested in it. That doesn't mean you're not interested in it. That doesn't mean you don't ever put out content about it. Sometimes it's relevant. Sometimes you just want to be a well-rounded person or organization, right? We all have varied interests. But they're really coming to you for that environmental content. Give it to them. It works the other way too. When you're looking to talk to people on social media, I preach the social media pyramid of strategy. Integration of the entire organization, quality content, authenticity, and targeted engagement. Know who you're talking to. You don't need to talk to everybody else. If I'm an environmental organization and I have some great content about Keystone Pipeline, I'm not going to go talk on Twitter to somebody who's an economist blog, because his audience isn't looking to him for information about Keystone. His audience is looking for information about the sequester or the budget deficit or whatever. So it's not just about knowing what your audience wants from you. You also have to know who in your audience to go and talk to. They're the ones that are then going to take your message and spread it for you. How much time do I have? 30 seconds, wrap it up.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay, so I really want to, we can dive into this more with questions and stuff, and I'm always happy to talk in email and offline and have lunch and whatever. But I really want everyone to kind of think about the fact that when you're creating content, it's not just about creating content for one particular audience. You are always going to have people in your audience that are kind of random, right? If I'm doing content about social media, I happen to also have people that like to follow me because of shoes and cats, right? So maybe you come to me with a piece of information about the economy that has a really good cat picture in it. I'm probably going to pass that along, right? I may not necessarily be an economic wonk. Okay, I'm not an economic wonk. But if it's got a cat, you're darn right I'm going to go RT that tweet. Okay? So you want to think about the fact that content needs to be appropriate to the audience, but you also want to aim it to the right people. And I'm going to finish with one last thing, and this is my biggest pet peeve on the whole wide planet. Linking of accounts. I know why people do it. I get it. I think partially it's laziness. I think partially it's that people have limited time.
You're talking about linking.
Linking Facebook to Twitter, or Twitter to Facebook, or Pinterest to Facebook, or that kind of thing. And the reason I hate it, and the reason I threaten to taser people over it, not that I actually own a taser, so just, hypothetically, is really simple. You have 420 characters to describe your content on Facebook. You have 140 on Twitter. Although if you have a link, you now have 138. They took away 2 characters a couple weeks ago. If you're on Pinterest, you have 240 characters. Use those wisely. People who are on Twitter have different interests than are on Facebook. They may be the same people, they may not be. So if you're posting the exact same thing to all of your platforms and somebody actually follows you on all your platforms, you're boring them. And they're going to stop paying attention to you. And on social media, that's really easy to do. You can follow somebody and never talk to them or retweet them or mention them. On Facebook, not only can you like a page and not ever look at the page, you can actually hide them from your timeline so that you never see their content at all. So if you're boring people by cross-posting the same information to all of your platforms, you're alienating people. And that's the last thing any of us in the social world want to do. And now I'm going to turn it over to you.